Hey, Pastor Joe here again. Probably something that nobody's going to want to hear, but I just don't care. I got up today. First thing I see again, because they just keep on going on about the gun control issue and mental illness. I totally agree. Some people are mentally ill, and people that are mentally ill should not have guns. Okay? And I want to show something that is definitely not going to end up making the news. But they should have known about this guy being mentally ill just from some of the pictures that he was to post. I'm only going to show one. There's a whole bunch of them, but just for people to get to see what I'm talking about. It's very apparent that the guy has some mental problems, okay? Here's the picture. I don't know what of the 65 different pronouns that this person was identifying as, but you have a mental illness when you get up in the morning and you go to take a leak and you can't figure out what gender you are. That is a mental illness, okay? I know that the mainstream media wants you to believe that this stuff is normal. It is not normal. It's not. The very first chapter of the Bible says that God created male and female. They didn't take up the rest of the chapter to include 65 more genders and the definition of each one of those genders. If you can't figure out what you are, whether you're a boy or a girl, a male or a female, you have issues. Okay? So the real mental illness should have been diagnosed way before it was. Second, when the gunman barricaded himself in the room, do you know they worked almost for an hour to get him out of there? Why? I mean, what was the issue there? Again, they should have been able to stop him before he ever got in the building by an armed guard. If the armed guard would have been there, 19 people would not have been lost, or 19 children wouldn't have been lost, and 2 adults. The only solution to stop a gunman is a gun. I hope everybody out there would agree that it was a good thing to shoot the gunman to stop him from killing any more. The only question I have for everybody out there is, would you rather have him get shot before he killed the 19 kids and the 2 adults? Or is it a good idea to just let him get in, kill 19 kids, and then shoot him? Here's a big question. Do you people out there believe that a cop, a police officer, can be a Christian? And if so, I mean, he carries a weapon every day, and sometimes they have to use them. Unfortunately, I agree with peace. I think peace should be the first thing to go to all the time. However, there are some times when you have to use a weapon. The schools need armed guards, whether it be ex-military or current military or law enforcement or whatever. There are plenty of people and agencies out there that can and should be at every entrance of a school. Because if you, let's say you was only to have one, which I'm for that too, but if you was to only have one officer, all the gunmen, if they wanted to get in there, would have to do is just kind of scope the place out a little bit, and oh yeah, I see the officers at the front door, and they go to the back door or the side door. So that's not going to work. You need an officer or an armed guard of some kind at every single entrance of the school. And again, I'm going to bring up the idea of the security doors that come down at the push of a button. If they had those at every single classroom and every single entrance, you would be able to get that, whoever the gunman was, you would be able to lock them into a certain area of the school so they couldn't get into others. If they're locked in the hallway, and then you would be able to, you would know where they're at, okay? So if they're in hall A1, you could put in some kind of a knockout gas or something to make sure that they were done instead of waiting for the police to get there. And then when the police get there, they stand outside behind their cars and listen to on the radio, like in Columbine. You guys realize that the police didn't even go in for an hour and a half while they were sitting outside listening to the radio, and the radio had even recordings of kids on there begging for their lives while the cops sit out and talked about it for an hour and a half. That's ridiculous, man. You police officers, next time there's a school shooting, don't wait for your superior officer to tell you what to do. Go in and save them kids. I mean, it only takes one person to start the procession of police officers. Because if I would have been there personally at Columbine, as soon as I knew that there was kids still being shot, I would have stood up. Excuse me. I would have stood up and looked at my fellow officers and just told them, "Who's going with me? Let's go right now." And I guarantee you, most of them officers, whether they were ordered by their superior officers or not, they would have followed me in to save them children. Police officers are usually good people. I mean, there's some dirtbags just like anything else, but most officers are good people. They want to serve their communities. You know, they're putting their life on the line every day for us, and blue lives do matter just as much as every other life matters. Not black lives matter. Black lives do matter, absolutely, but all lives matter, no matter what color you are. This whole racism thing is getting out of hand. The reason why racism is happening so much now is because they're advertising it on the TV every day and making it out to be more than what it is, and it's turning people against each other. The whole thing with the media and the government right now is divide and conquer. They are trying to divide us on every single thing, whether it be from race to your gender, to what your beliefs are on this and that, political views and everything else. They're trying to divide everybody against each other so that they can just move in and take over everything. And ask yourself, who's going to stop them if we don't have any guns? You know, the Second Amendment was not put there to go hunting. The Second Amendment was put there because we had just been under the British. In 1775, we were under the British. It was a tyrannical government overtaxing us, holding us down and everything. So we had to get out from underneath that. That's why we got our independence. The reason why the Second Amendment was put in there the way that it was against a tyrannical government. If our government was to turn tyrannical like the British were, that we as people had the right to keep and bear arms so that we could rise up and overthrow that government just like we did the British. It has nothing to do with hunting. Let me also address the semi-automatic gun issue, because everybody seems to think, I hear it quite a bit, you know, oh, well, people don't need a semi-automatic assault rifle. Well, first of all, there's no such thing as an assault rifle unless it's used in an assault. That's what makes it an assault rifle, okay? You could take a Ruger 1022, a regular old hunting rifle that most people, you know, I mean, kids have got them, to shoot a rabbit or a target or whatever, okay? You could take that 1022 and take the stock off of it and put a different stock on it. It doesn't change the way the weapon works. It doesn't make it fire any faster. It doesn't make it hold any more bullets. It doesn't do anything, but it looks scary. Oh my gosh, now that's an assault rifle. No, the fact is, unless it's used in an assault, it is not an assault rifle. Okay, that's just the facts. And a semi-automatic weapon does not fire fast. Okay, let me stress this. A revolver, just like the old, you know, those pistols in the Wild West, you got to squeeze the trigger. It fires a shot. You let off the trigger resets. You got to squeeze the trigger again, and it fires another shot. So even a revolver is a semi-automatic weapon. Okay, one squeeze of the trigger, one bullet. Let it off, squeeze the trigger again, it fires another bullet. People have got it stuck in their heads that a semi-automatic rifle is you hold the trigger down and just it shoots like a machine gun. Machine guns are illegal. Fully automatic weapons are illegal. So unless you know things about weapons, quit talking about it so much. Oh my gosh, we can't have semi-automatics. It's not a machine gun. It's not. I mean, this is like the congresswoman that was talking about they had to have all these different things banned, and she said, and barrel shrouds need banned. And somebody, one of the press people asked her, do you even know what a barrel shroud is? And she's like, no. but they need banned. We got people in Congress that vote on stuff and they don't even know what the heck they're voting on, man. Come on, do you know what a barrel shroud is? A barrel shroud is something that goes over the barrel and it makes it to where you don't burn your hand on the barrel if the barrel's hot. It doesn't affect how the gun shoots. It might make it look a little more mean and a little cooler, but it has nothing to do with how the gun operates, okay? And we need to get idiots out of Congress, and we need to get people in there that are fairly educated, or at least people that are willing to look it up and see what they're voting on. But anyway, that's my short for today. Gun control is not the answer. Gun control is having both hands on and a good aim, okay? If you take the guns out of the law-abiding citizens' hands or make it harder for them to get, the only thing you'll end up with is criminals being the only ones with guns. If you take guns from the law-abiding criminal, we're going to, you know what, the people that are for gun control, they're only going to understand this when all the guns are gone, nobody's got any guns, and then somebody runs up into a school and they're going, well, how come there's nobody there to stop them? There ain't no guns around. You'll finally get what you want. But it's going to cost us. Our kids need protected. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. If we could put armed guards in banks to protect money, and we could put armed guards in stores to protect goods, why can't we protect our most valuable asset, our children? The only way you're going to stop a gun is with a gun. Pastor Joe out.